make a narrative as if like I'm scared of. I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me? Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm on a different level than everybody.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to boxing, because Devin, he's a boxer.
It's on him. You know what I mean? It's on him. He knows that he's going to get this fade sooner or later. So it's only a matter of time. Obviously, we can't go down. You know, we can't go down to 135. So, you know, he would have to come up. And, you know, he can get this work anytime. He ready.
I see greatness, man. I see greatness. Shakur practically beat him with one hand, man. That jab, man. Most important hand you have, man. You know? And he looked good doing it, sharp. You know what I mean? Distance. He did everything, man.
Shakur Stevenson is reportedly stepping toward Devin Haney at 140, embracing the rehydration conditions without hesitation, carrying a quiet, dangerous confidence, fully believing his skill set doesn't just compete, but rises above every challenger standing in his path.
All of these guys, if y'all want me to come to 147, I'm coming in with rehydration qualities. I don't even do that. Yeah. But why am I going up to these guys' weight classes if I'm not planning on?
Devin Haney insists the fight with Shakur Stevenson will happen, his voice carrying resolve, determination, and commitment, making it unmistakably clear he doesn't just accept this moment, he genuinely wants this bout.
Or still at 135. You can't, you know, say your name without saying Shakur to your female tank, right? It just is what it is. Is that fight going to ever happen? Would it ever happen against you and Shakur?
100%, yeah. I think so. I think it.
You think Shakur will grow into whatever weight you're in?
I mean, we're all of us is close to the same size. You know, we're all growing together. We're all like, you know, getting bigger. Well, so, and it's only so many guys, like y'all said. It's only so many guys that we could make big money and people want to see the fights. Which even though I know that they making new guys, it's guys like Kermel, Abdullah, all these guys want to come up too. So eventually they gonna be there too. But yeah, no, I think that a fight with Shakur is very much possible. We try to make.
Shakur Stevenson says he isn't afraid of Devin Haney at all. Yet there's a sense Devin's team could twist the narrative, falsely claiming Shakur is deliberately avoiding the fight.
Devin Haney.
Okay.
Devin Haney's probably, to me, I don't think it's hit its point yet, but I think in the next year or two it'll hit a point where it's like the world is gonna demand. You know what I'm saying? I can see the trajectory feels like it could meet like that.
I would love this fight, but look, you gotta watch what you say with like. And this is not even Devin fault, because Devin is very respectful of my game, and I'm respectful of his game. He's a good fighter. But his fans will clip and twist and turn things into something that is not. So I try to be real careful on what I say.
True. This is guy Jay on Twitter. He a big Haney fan. He be always clipping and changing stuff, Jay.
Yeah, they gonna make a narrative as if like I'm scared of. I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me?
Shakur Stevenson believes he's operating on an entirely different level, convinced there isn't a single fighter alive capable of truly defeating him, all while knowing Devin lacks the power to knock him out when it matters most.
Like he's a fucking stone cold killer who's just gonna go in there and try to knock me the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to outbox me. I'm the greatest boxer. How do you... So that's how I feel about the fight.
Yeah.
But it all gotta make sense from a business standpoint. I don't like getting up here and negotiating against myself. And,
for sure.
But for me, I'm willing
to
make the fight.
But do you see it as it being that could, you know, like we always said, the Four Kings, even though you wasn't a part of it, the whole plot is like at the end of the road, there's gonna be two guys left standing, and that's the big fight. Do you see that as that's potentially what that could be?
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Devin Haney is driven by a burning need to prove himself, chasing battles with elite opponents like Shakur Stevenson, not for noise or hype, but to carve out and confirm his true greatness.
Fights are not possible. Would you be more inclined just to move up to 140?
Yeah, you know, if I can't get those fights next or it doesn't make sense for it to to be next. I'll probably go to 140, test it out, see how I feel at the weight at 140, and then when the time is right, then I'll defend my belt at 135. We'll just see though. I got to go back and talk with the team and see what makes the most sense. That's really.
Bill Haney makes it clear they won't come down or sit around waiting, drawing a firm line in the sand, sending a message that echoes through the division, because anyone truly wanting a fight, anyone serious about testing themselves, must be willing to move up to 140 and meet them there.
He didn't become undisputed, yet they didn't mention the franchise belt, which directly impacted Devin's career early on, right? And it seemed like, I was saying this on my live earlier, you tell me what you think about this, but it seems to me like there's a lot of people that have tried to block y'all ambition, right? Between you signed to the wrong company, Loma not taking the Devin fight, Tio not taking the Devin fight, Rolly saying he just don't want to fight Devin. Do you see that? Like, how do you see that? As far as like, people know you're ambitious, they know you want to be unified, they know you want to be undisputed, so they put all these obstacles up and they make it hard for you to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. I think it's been historic in a way that
He adds that the bout can happen at any moment, at any time, the instant the challenger decides he's truly ready to step forward and make it real.
So we must keep our composure and our patience and understand that it's part of the process when you're that good. You know what I mean? We can't say it any other way. They're running out of narratives. You know what I'm saying? And, it's what the people want to see. We don't never say, okay, well, this guy has done something wrong or he did bad business. So, we'll never do it. Obviously, when we go through negotiations and we spend time in there, whether it's put something together for Richard Hitchinson, for him to come back later and to say, I want that fight. Well, when we were trying to make the fight, we couldn't. You didn't want to negotiate. You went somewhere else. When we were negotiating with Shakur Stevenson, instead of him negotiating with us, he said that he's going to go.
Tim Bradley believes Shakur Stevenson carries a ceiling so high it could one day place him above even Terrence Crawford in boxing history. A bold thought considering Crawford already sits firmly on the sport's Mount Rushmore, a rare 5-weight division champion whose resume speaks for itself. But Bradley isn't dismissing Crawford's greatness. He's expanding the conversation, suggesting that Shakur, much like Crawford in his prime, owns a special blend of talent, instincts, and skill that feels almost destined for something bigger. He explains this isn't about chasing Crawford's multiple undisputed crowns or copying his journey through weight classes, but about timing, opportunity, and the doors that were closed during Crawford's rise because of boxing politics. Bradley points out that if power brokers like Turki Alaşık had existed during Crawford's climb, smoothing relationships and bridging promoter divides, the sport might have seen massive fights come together sooner. Battles against names like Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Errol Spence, and Yildiz Ugas could have happened earlier, shifting narratives, amplifying Crawford's legacy, and pushing his stardom to an even higher level. And that's where Shakur enters the story, standing at the crossroads Crawford once faced, but in an era where the walls might finally be lower, the pathways clearer, and the chance to reach heights boxing fans once thought unreachable suddenly feels real.
I feel like Shakur, just like Crawford was with me, Shakur has the ability to pass Terrence Crawford. Listen up. Now, not in the sense of becoming 3-time undisputed and, going up to, that many weight classes. Not from that standpoint. He already has 4 weight classes. Crawford is a 5-weight division champion. But in a sense of having the opportunities that Crawford didn't have. Crawford would have been even bigger than what he is if the politics didn't play into the sport at the time. And now that, you have guys like Turki Alaşık that are able to bridge that gap between promoters and, make these big...
With that in mind, Shakur is stepping into an era where the most talented fighters between 130 and 135 pounds are more within reach than ever, opening doors for him to consistently face elite opponents and prove his place at the top. Names like Devin Haney, Lamont Roach, O'Shaquie Foster, Gary Russell Jr., Dalton Smith, Brian Garcia, and countless others line up as potential challenges, each one a chance to test his skill, heart, and strategy. Bradley stresses that this isn't just about competing, Shakur has the tools, the vision, and the timing to beat these fighters, to seize these moments in ways that could define his career. Every fight isn't merely about. It's an opportunity to build a legacy, to write chapters in boxing history that might one day surpass even Crawford in influence and accomplishments. In this landscape, where paths are clearer and top-tier competition is at his fingertips, Shakur doesn't just have the chance to fight the best. He has the chance to become the best, to shape an era, and leave a mark that boxing fans will remember long after the final bell rings.
He was around when Crawford was on his climb. You know, when Crawford couldn't get those big fights with like Thurman and Danny Garcia and Ugas, and, you know, he got it later with Sean Porter, but it was later. But imagine if Crawford was able to have that run and, you know, Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, Ugas, Keith Thurman, you know, the list goes on. If he would have had all those guys on his ledger, imagine how big Crawford would be. He would be even bigger than what he is today, you know, bigger than what he is today. So with that being said, you know, with these fighters hovering around 135, these talented fighters, hovering around 135, 130, you know, guys like, you know, O'Shaquie Foster, like I mentioned, going to go up to 135. He's big enough to go to 135.
There's a major obstacle looming. Yet as you watch these two warriors clash, it becomes clear that outside of anything underhanded, losing isn't really in their vocabulary. And just like that, Devin Haney fires back at Shakur. Shakur counters instantly, a seamless, almost electric exchange that shows exactly what happens when top-level fighters collide. That back and forth isn't just talk. It's the heartbeat of elite competition, the pulse that keeps fans on the edge of their seats. At first, whispers floated about the For Kings 2.0, a dream lineup with Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and Gervonta Davis, evoking the ghost of boxing's golden era, calling to mind legends like Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Roberto Duran, fighters whose names still echo through the halls of history. This comparison isn't idle hype. It's a reminder of the stakes, of the potential for a generation-defining clash, where skill, timing, and sheer willpower could converge to create something unforgettable, a moment that might one day be spoken of in the same reverent tone as those old-school titans.
See to that, I doubt it. So there's a major obstacle in the way. But nonetheless, as you watch these two fighters fight, you can clearly see, outside of cheating, they're more than likely not going to lose, right? With that said, Devin Haney immediately responds to Shakur. Shakur responds to Devin, right? Again, we had the initial Four Kings. It was Devin, Ryan, T.O., and Tank Davis, right? It was supposed to be the Four Kings 2.0. From the Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto.
Interestingly, Wilfred Benitez, a name often lost in the echoes of that legendary era, managed to defeat Roberto Duran, a man who struggled against several of the original Four Kings. Duran beat Sugar Ray Leonard just once, suffered a brutal knockout at the hands of Hearns, was thoroughly outclassed by Hagler, and ultimately bested by Benitez, yet Benitez's name never commanded the respect it deserved. The pattern repeats in today's ring. Fighters like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, and Teofimo Lopez have often loomed larger in the spotlight, casting shadows over Shakur Stevenson. But now, Stevenson is stepping into his own, beginning to shine brilliantly, especially after his decisive domination of Teofimo Lopez, proving he's more than a footnote in the conversation. Meanwhile, Tank Davis's legal battles and hesitation to step into the ring underscore the shifting challenges and opportunities defining modern boxing. A landscape where timing, courage, and seizing the right moment can elevate a fighter from overlooked talent to undeniable force, and where Shakur Stevenson is starting to write his own unforgettable chapter.
Wilfred Benitez. And the fact remains is Wilfred Benitez beat Roberto Duran as well. And Roberto Duran is 1-4 against those guys. He beat Sugar Ray Leonard the first time. Outside of that, Roberto Duran, he lost. He quit against Sugar Ray Leonard. He got knocked out brutally by Tommy Hearns. He got outboxed by Marvin Hagler and outclassed by Wilfred Benitez. Right? But he's overshadowing Wilfred Benitez. And I felt like these guys, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tank, and Tio, overshadowed Shakur Stevenson. And now Shakur Stevenson has shined the light by dominating Teofimo Lopez.
Bernie Thawboxer reacts to the Shakur Stevenson versus Devin Haney showdown by diving into the legacies and monumental achievements of both warriors. Shakur has carved his name into history as a 4-weight world champion, a 2-time lineal champion, and a 2-time Ring Magazine title holder, feats that alone command respect. He didn't stop there. He also became a 2-time unified champion at 130 pounds, triumphing over elite opponents like Teofimo Lopez, a fighter who never shies away from the spotlight and always rises to the occasion, making Shakur's victories feel even more significant and cementing his status as one of boxing's true modern greats.
After the fight, Conor Ben comes into the ring. They talk, have some words, but Shakur Stevenson said, I want to put that same rehydration clause you put on Chris Eubank. Tell me, what did you get out of that moment in the ring?
Well, I heard on the press conference where I think it was his manager said that, that was a clown move, but I think Shakur invited that, I don't even know if I would have said all that about Conor being right then, but I think he really wants that fight. He really wants the money for the fight. He been saying that, and now he came through victorious. I think he really wants that money for that fight. He wants the money for.
Devin Haney, meanwhile, stands tall as a 3-weight world champion and once held the undisputed crown, a testament to his elite skill and relentless drive. Bernie underscores that if Shakur truly wants to face Devin head-on, there's no reason to hesitate. Meeting him at his peak leaves no room for doubt, no space for excuses, and guarantees Shakur the full credit for an achievement that could define his career. Both fighters are undeniably elite, but conquering Devin in his prime would elevate Shakur Stevenson's legacy to a whole new level, marking him as one of the defining champions of his generation and showcasing, for all to see, the depth of his skill, the steel of his determination, and the unmistakable caliber of a true champion.
Fights, accomplishments, because now Shakur is a 4-weight world champion. Devin is a 3-weight world champion. Devin was undisputed, but now Shakur is a 2-time lineal champion, so he's a 2-time Ring Magazine winner, 2-time unified champion. If you want to add the ring, as far as with the WBO, he was unified at 130, so he's a 2-time unified champion, 2-time lineal champion, beat a guy like Teofimo Lopez, who rises to the occasion, had a close fight with George Kambosos. You can make a claim that he was fighting out of frustration or out of emotion, and that was it. He was in his prime too, Josh Taylor seemed to be drained at 140, not taking away from Devin, but he was already moving up to 47, they were saying. Lomachenko was a little older.
Shakur Stevenson recently delivered a performance against Teofimo Lopez that can only be called masterful, and Busiai Ennis points out just how extraordinary it was, especially given that Shakur fought almost as if one hand were tied. His jab, the lifeline of boxing, snapped with precision, controlling distance as if the ring itself bowed to him. Every step, every feint, every combination was deliberate, a demonstration of technical brilliance that made Lopez, despite his talent and experience, look strangely amateurish. Critics had long questioned Shakur's resume, claiming he hadn't faced elite competition, but against Lopez, he silenced every doubter, proving that skill and strategy can outweigh hype and reputation. Every punch, every movement, every adjustment was executed with near-perfect timing, a chess game played at lightning speed. Lopez struggled not because he lacked heart or athleticism, but because he was facing Shakur Stevenson, a fighter whose mastery of the craft turns challenges into showcases, and who makes even the most seasoned opponents look like they're steps behind in a game they didn't realize they were playing.
I see greatness, man. I see greatness. Shakur practically beat him with one hand, man. That jab, man. Most important hand you have, man. And he looked good doing it, sharp. You know what I mean? Distance. He did everything, man. He did everything right, man.
A lot of people thought it would be a tough fight because Teo's athletic, Teo's experienced, he's fought on a high level. And, they were critical of Shakur. Oh, he ain't fought nobody, and this and that. Yeah. He made Teo look like everybody else.
Made him look like an amateur. Made him look like an amateur. Yes.
Now, technically, what did you see? Right? Where did Teo go wrong in that fight?
Where he went wrong?
Yeah.
Fighting Shakur. That's where he went wrong. Fighting Shakur. I knew he just running his mouth. He just was talking, man. I knew that from the beginning,
Even with his left hand slightly injured, Shakur held complete command of the fight, his jab snapping relentlessly while he sparingly used the hurt hand, each punch measured yet impactful. Buzzy highlights that if he wanted, Shakur could have gone for the stoppage, but instead he navigated the bout with intelligence, patience, and strategy, turning adversity into an advantage. The performance wasn't just a display of skill, it was a testament to his ring IQ, composure, and unshakable focus under pressure. Fans in Philly and far beyond witnessed a masterclass, watching Shakur assert himself as one of boxing's elite talents. Even while nursing an injury, he dictated every moment, every exchange, proving that true greatness doesn't depend on perfect conditions. It depends on skill, heart, and the relentless determination to seize the moment no matter what stands in your way.
I stopped it too, but Shakur hurt his left hand. His left hand was hurt. If you notice, he was using that jab a lot.
Yeah, jab and then the
you know
hook.
And he threw the left hand every now and then. Because I was screaming out. Everybody said they heard me in Philly.
Yo, we could hear you on the TV. Yo.
Yeah. That's my young buck. You know what I mean? And I was telling him, throw that straight left hand. Then I noticed when he did throw it, he wasn't throwing it real hard. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But he looked spectacular, man. You know what I mean? You can't ask for nothing more, man. And with me, I don't care about what people say, man. They always want to talk about you and say, oh, he should have did this, should have did that. He did everything that he was.
The fight between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney is one the boxing world can't stop buzzing about, a collision of talent, speed, and sheer determination that makes every second in the ring pulse with unpredictability and intensity. Fans dissect their styles, pore over past performances, and argue endlessly about who will emerge victorious, knowing that every punch, every feint, every movement could tilt the balance. Shakur's flawless technical mastery meets Devin's explosive agility and raw power, setting the stage for a clash that promises sparks, drama, and unforgettable moments. The atmosphere is electric, charged with anticipation, and the outcome has the potential not just to decide a winner, but to define careers, etching this bout into the memories of fans and into the annals of modern boxing as one of the most remarkable fights of recent years.
That even remotely sparks my interest for Shakur Stevenson is this guy right here, Devin Haney. Look at them, they're the same size. Obviously, Devin's moved up to 147. Shakur demands a catch weight. We'll see if...
And that's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned, because the story doesn't end here. Until next time, the drama, the skill, and the fight for greatness continue to unfold.